individual here by the name of Tim Prefrum, and I want you to introduce yourself and what you got going on here and when you started.
My name is Tim Preview. I'm the CEO of MODELEMI Talent Agency. We were founded in 2014. Our motto is we are the revolution of the industry, in that you don't have to be 5'10" and to model in our agency, and we try to find our models as much work as we can. And we're more of like a family than an agency.
You added to your agency a young lady by the name of Vilma Bellini. Can you kind of explain to me why you added her and what you think she brings to your agency that can enhance what you already have?
Velma, who's sitting here next to me, she's been a model for over 20 years. She was with Ford Agency in New York City. She's been published multiple times, walked in many fashion show, and she just inspires me. She was previously an addict, and she turned that all around, and now she's traveling the world and spreading the word of women empowerment. So we got a really good connection, and that's when I offered her a position as vice president of the agency.
Has she accepted yet?
I hope so.
Yes.
All right, and we'll get to you later. So here we have a group of young ladies. They're here with their parents. As everyone knows, if you are under the age of 18, sometimes you need a legal guardian with you. So I'm going to start off with the parents here, and I'm going to start off with you. I want you to introduce yourself, young lady, and introduce who you're here guarding.
Okay.
Okay, and tell us about yourself and your guardee.
Okay. My name is Kelly Spoon. My daughter Gracie Spoon is right here. She's 16, and we're fairly new to the agency. We've only been with you guys since about January, and we live in Waco.
Whose idea was it to join?
Well, Gracie has always been interested in modeling. We just never pursued it, I guess, when she was younger. And so just through some people that I know, they recommended the agency, and we just went for it. So
how did that conversation start?
Basically, Gracie, I submitted your name online, but I knew it was her idea. We just reached out. And then we talked about it, and she's just really excited about it.
So, Gracie, how long did this run through your mind before you got up enough nerve to talk to your mom about it?
I've always talked about it ever since I was little.
What about this attracts you to this industry? Tough. It doesn't give you a good feeling. You don't watch television. You don't see all those women, flying around these big jets and caviar.
Yeah.
No wine for you yet, but.
Well, yeah, that. Traveling.
Traveling. So have you traveled yet?
Not yet.
Are you getting ready to?
Yes.
Where are you going?
New York.
How long you been with the agency?
Since January.
And you're already going where?
New York.
Fashion Week? For Fashion Week? No. They have to be at least 3 years, right?
No.
So basically, you sign up with an agency, and 3 months later, you are going to New York.
Yes.
How excited are you?
Very.
Who else is excited? Show of hands. No moms raise their hand.
Moms are a little overwhelmed.
Mom, introduce yourself and who you're here with.
My name is Monica Hunt. I'm here with Amber Lee. She is 16, and we have been with the agency since September of 2020. She started by a 16th photo shoot that my sister found with Tim. We have friends that know Tim also, and their daughter and mom has done some modeling with Tim. Just kind of taking off from there.
So you took off. Where did you go?
I'm here, and I'll be going to New York Fashion Week in
As
September.
well?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
As a designer too.
As a designer.
This is really ridiculous. So, how long have you been interested in modeling, designing, and what else?
I really want to do acting too.
Uh-huh.
But since I was little bitty, I always talked about
Since you were what?
since I was little bitty.
So country. Go ahead.
Since I always talked about being on TV and the glam and the fashion and everything about the modeling industry.
Mm-hmm. When you dream of the modeling industry, tell me, kind of paint a picture for everyone else, what those dreams look like.
Money, traveling the world.
Oh, well, money came out first?
Yep.
Who'd you get that from, your mom or your dad?
My dad.
Your dad, yeah. He's a businessman.
Yeah.
He is. Tell us about your wardrobe. What kind of style do you have? What does it lean towards?
More of like the streetwear. I really like print. That's since I'm not really super tall. I won't be in runway shows, but I will be in print.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good. You,
Yes.
Now,
the quiet storm, Natalie. Introduce yourself.
My name's Natalie. I'm 16. Will be 17 in about 3 weeks, and I've been with this agency for about 2 years, and it's honestly one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Why?
Just meeting Tim, and I met Tim through Miss Dorothy. She was a family friend, and I grew up in a really, really rough situation. I also was severely bullied, and never felt good enough. And then I met Tim, and he's honestly, not just him, but everybody. They've made me feel like I belong, and they make me feel like, you don't have to prove yourself to anybody. You don't have to be a size 0. You don't have to be 7 foot tall. You don't have to have a lot of money, and you don't have to come from a good background. You just have to have the heart, have the stamina, and just have the mindset that you need to work your butt off, and you need to just be yourself.
So he wasn't telling a story when he said it's kind of more like a family.
He wasn't.
Wow.
Honestly, these people have become a big, big, big part of my life.
Wow. I really like that a lot because, I've been in this business for 37 years, and I see a lot of people out there that are lonely. They can be surrounded by a lot of people, but they really don't want to be around that crowd. When I see people that have the same goals, kind of go in the same direction, kind of have the same interests, it kind of gives you a sense of, belonging because, you can relate to them. You don't have to be quiet. You can express yourself. So, I applaud you, Tim, for that, for bringing that together. And I'm going to jump over to the individual who swindled you into this. Miss Dorothy, why did you do that? What did you see in your girlfriend there that says, I think you can use this?
Well, she started already modeling before I met her, or not before I met her, but when I met her, she was already
Speak
doing
up just a little bit for me.
She was already doing the LA thing, and so she said she loved it. She just didn't quite know how to do anything, like how to sign, because whenever she was there, they said she was like too young, and not the height limit they wanted. So I was like, well, come with us. And so I introduced her to Tim, and we shot together, and then she signed.
Great. So tell us about yourself. What are your goals? What do you want to do?
With modeling, I just want to be an inspiration for other people. Like, a lot of models, honestly, we are bullied in school, and we're told all the time that we're not good enough to be anyone, or like, oh, if you come from a low-class family, you're told like, oh, you're going to stay a low-class family because that's how you're raised. But I want to prove that I'm not, and that I can get out of it, and that I am good enough. And just because I don't look like someone else or someone else's standards, I'm still me. I'm still worth every bit of someone else who's prettier, or however someone else sees them. We're all the same.
Well said. Well said. Who's sitting next to you there?
Gracie, maybe.
Gracie.
Yes.
Tell us about yourself, Gracie.
I don't know.
I'm giving you a second chance.
What do you wanna
I'm messing
know?
with you. I'm messing with you. Young lady over here.
Hi.
Your eyes are huge.
I get that all the time.
Yeah, and they're not lying. Tell us about yourself, young lady.
My name is Jada Blessing. I'm 15. I'm going to be 16 in 1 month. I've been modeling for 2 years now. Actually, the moment I started modeling, I was actually signed with MODELEMI. Like, I did one photo shoot, and then I submitted my photos to MODELEMI, and I came and I walked, and I wasn't very good at walking at all, actually. Like, not at all.
What do you mean? You had the wrong size shoes on, or?
I had to practice like walking a runway, and I had never done that before, ever.
What was so different about it?
I don't know. It's just, I guess, like, I thought that I had to walk with like pizzazz or whatever, but you just have to walk like proper, prim and proper, basically. And that's the best way I can put it. And
So people start walking at like 12, 13 months. What happened to you?
well, I don't know. Maybe I've just always been a bit of a clumsy person, but
I'm just playing.
runway walking is
It's
it's-
different.
it's different, but it's easy to pick up. But at first, I thought I wasn't ever going to get it, and I thought this wasn't for me. But fortunately, Tim kind of convinced me to like continue doing it, and he said he saw something in me.
Did Tim show you how to walk?
Oh
yeah.
oh
He
yeah,
does
yeah.
that with everybody.
He demonstrated it for me, and everything. It was perfect.
You got a good laugh, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah. But a lot of the models here actually helped me, and they taught me how to walk better, and I was signed, and I think that MODELEMI has been like the best first experience into modeling that I could have gotten. Everyone here is very, very sweet and just like very welcoming. Like he really was not lying when he said it's like a family, because I have never felt like this is like a super like strict, like I have to go on a diet, I have to look a certain way constantly, I have to look like all the other models. He allows individuality, and he also like here it's welcomed to be yourself. It's very welcome to be yourself.
You have a little passion.
I love this. I love modeling, and I love everything about it.
Slow down, pump your brakes. You're snaring. Miss V.
Yes,
Vilma,
sir.
what got you into modeling? And what year was that?
Oh my God, that was like 20 years ago. But I came, you want me to hold it? I came from Lithuania at 16 years old, and I was married. I started a family very young. That's a different story. My son was born when I was 19, and I went into modeling right after that. It was very different then. There was, not so much photography going on where you can do collaboration work with other photographers. So you had to pay for all the services, and you really had to go physically to auditions and casting calls. So it took a long time, but to make a long story short, I was in it for almost 20 years modeling. But with my opioid addiction and the drug abuse, the last few years like really got slower and slower, and the addiction increased and increased. And then I met Chuck 5 years ago. I got myself clean, been clean since, and just he rebranded me and took me to the new heights.
Let's talk about that rebranding thing. What? Let's go from. Have you guys ever heard of the Ford Modeling Agency?
Yes.
It's kind of a little bitty small agency
Oh, no.
in the back corner of Waco
A
someplace.
little bit
right?
bigger than
No? It's a little bit bigger than that?
A whole lot bigger.
What do you know about Ford?
So like Dorothy said, I worked in LA for a few weeks, and you had a bunch of big name agencies, and such as Ford and Wilhelmina and Next Modeling, and Ford is just, that's top tier. That is, you dream about being a Ford model, and it's my dream.
You know that's how we got hooked up. I said, she was Ford. I got to have me a Ford.
And you should have went for a BMW.
Ford.
Mm-hmm.
Other agencies on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
When you say branding you, Explain the difference between a Ford branding you and what they do and what you are doing now. And you can hold the mic
Okay.
for this.
So, Ford models branding me, it just puts you up on a higher pedestal in the modeling world, but you're still competing with all the same of you, just trying to be better. Rebranding myself means I found a niche that not many are doing, so I perfected it. And when somebody needs an expert in that niche, my chances of getting hired are so much higher because steampunk, I'm a steampunk model. I became steampunk. All of you know what steampunk is? Okay. So he made me into a steampunk model because he was already a steampunk Chuck. When I met him, he had branded himself. So it was easy for me to step in and piggyback off of what he had created. So
How did that help you?
So steampunks is a lifestyle, and the wardrobe and props uses a lot of leather pieces. And leather is one of the most expensive things to buy when you want leather. And so I have a lot of designers who make leather pieces, send us clothes. We have a lot of high-end designers from Hollywood, from all over the world, sending us clothes, paying us thousands of dollars to market their clothes because we travel so much in all exotic locations. So, for example, they would give us $4,000 for us to market their clothes for 90 days, take it around the US and put them in our network, because our network has a lot of businesses, corporations, and big shot people.
So explain the difference between, a model who doesn't have her own brand, who is, out there trying to make it. If you were to give them some advice and how to, if they're wanting to do it as a hobby, that's great. But if they're trying to make a little income or get money, give them, a tip of what changed it for you, because you got paid with Ford, $3, $4, $5, $7, $8,000. But how often?
These gigs came, 2-3 times a year. The rest of the gigs were, few $100s. And if you just get it every few months, it doesn't really pay your bills. So you have to have a regular job. But I forgot, what was the first question?
You already answered it, both of them at once.
No, I want to answer more. There was another one.
If you guys notice, look at her outfit. It's got her face on it.
My name?
Her name. It's got steampunk stuff.
That's branding. For example, we travel so much, I go to a gas station and people just look at my name. They take a picture sometimes discreetly, They look me up, they follow me. I find messages from the States, from people in the States that we visit. So you're trying to get more followers, become an influencer. What best way to do it than put something, where everybody can see how to find you.
The thing is influence. The world is kind of changing a little bit. Influence is being able to change the trajectory of
something. I hope I didn't stop it.
No, you get to change the way someone presents something. So if you have a makeup company or a sunglass company, they're looking for people on Instagram that have followers, that are engaging with them. And they are looking for people like that to be able to actually help them sell something. If you don't have a lot of engagement, and the person next to you does, you can be a lot prettier than the next person. But if I'm trying to sell sunglasses, I want someone out there, working. And I'm looking for people who are talking to other people. They're happy. They have a bunch of followers. They have a good fan base. So with that said, I want you guys to answer questions, for us. I have 37 years in the industry. Vilma has, 25 years in the industry. Tim has 750. So I'm going to start with the moms first. Moms, don't hold back, but ask me a question, any questions that you may have in the industry.
How does a child or someone who is under the age of 18, how does they expand their followers when you have parents that are very restrictive of who follows them and just very
Concerned.
for what's being put out there.
Good question.
I'm a parent myself, and my daughter is 39, and I'm still very restrictive.
Yes.
You know, the planet has 8 billion people on it. My brain capacity does not have enough space to figure them all out. If I raise my children in a way to understand what's right and what's wrong and what to stay away from, you can't erase it all, because there's some really smart people out there. But this is how I learned in Europe, because I don't want to say that we're not smart or anything like this, but there's people that have been on this planet a lot longer than we have when it comes to language and things like that, because English comes from the Germanic language. So we kind of learn how to communicate. What I learned there, at the age of 11, they started giving their children a little bit more freedom in Europe, just a little bit more. And I notice a lot of parents who are in this, I think having a joint account, having, you being there like you are to kind of, help them, because kids don't, sometimes understand what, they're I don't want to say gullible, but
They can calculate.
they can't calculate that well because they don't have enough information. And I think hanging out with them, doing what you're doing, get interested in what they're doing, you're building a kind of a friendship with, because you're not going to be able to close it off, because when they turn 18 and go to school, that umbilical cord gets cut off right there.
Yes.
And you don't want that cutoff to be so dramatic where you have cut everything away, and then all of a sudden at 18, they're out there. This is where a lot of craziness happens at this point, and so building that relationship up where it's really close, where they feel comfortable coming up and asking you questions. I think, as a parent myself, and I think I'm almost 60 years old, I can say, being close with them is very, very important. And now to answer your question. That question can only be answered by you, because I don't know your daughter. Your daughter, there's, I can line up, 50 girls at the age of 16, and they all will need a different style of, care and attention, and they're at all different levels. So relying on you to kind of guide her through this would be my best tip. But you got to get out there and you got to learn. You got to open it up. And I would maybe have her rely more on herself to create her own business, like she's doing right now with the clothing. I think that's an invaluable thing for her to do and to focus on as well, because it makes her mature a lot faster. It really does. And call Tim.
Well, and one of the things that we teach is, especially for girls, is women's intuition is such a big thing. You have it for a reason, and if something's you're not feeling good about it, listen to it. There's a reason. And at 16, it's not completely developed at all. That kind of you learn that with time. As a parent, I think that's what a lot of parents think, especially in this age of social media, is how do we get our kids' names and faces out there without being too terribly concerned that someone is going to, go the wrong direction with it.
How did you do it, Mom?
Honestly, she didn't have Instagram and Facebook until she started the business.
No, how did you do it as a child?
Different world.
In that world that you were in, that was all equal, how did you do it? Okay, you didn't have a cell phone. Oh, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not. I don't want to give away your
No.
age here. Don't get me
I
in
didn't
trouble
have
here.
it. No, there was no cell phone, and I mean, it was honestly, as a child, we didn't have to worry about things like that. It wasn't. It wasn't something that was around me personally. I was very sheltered for it. Not to say I didn't know it wasn't going on, because we knew it. We were very protected in our own little parent bubble,
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could say. So it's kind of hard to say exactly. It kind of came more as I got older, versus being a teenager and, you know, being exposed to that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I honestly don't think you have much to worry about because, you know, I believe, you know, I'm in this, I do women's retreats and I'm in this business because I love learning from you guys. Because, I mean, the most important person to me in my world was my mother and my grandmother. They were always the wise one, and my father and my grandfather were always in trouble. So I didn't go to them for advice. You know, I always went to my mother and my grandmother. So, you know, I love women's retreats. I love listening to what you guys, your concerns are, because they're very genuine. And women are always about, you know, taking care of. They always want to fix up something, you know. So your daughter's in a very good place. You know, I'm a very good judge of character. And I don't think you have anything to worry about her. You just kind of, like you said, kind of protect her from the wolves out there. And a good deterrent is honesty, because bad people don't like honesty. They don't like real. You know, be real. And you know, your daughter has a natural drive. I see how she works with the animals and things like that. She's a very caring person. She wants to design. She wants to create. Let her do it.
Yes.
Bad people are afraid of creativity. They really are. Mom.
Say the question again. Now I've gotten so engrossed. That was such a great question.
Yeah, no. I'm asking you to ask me a question.
Okay, so questions. You know, I think for us being brand new, it's where do we start? You know, I know she's trying to build like a portfolio, and how do we get that together? How do we start her brand? You know, I think that's a big thing for us.
Another question would be, how do they even figure out what their brand is?
Yes.
At such a young age, how do they? I mean, do they really know what their brand is?
Yeah.
Mine at 5 years old knew she wanted her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
That's what she's been doing.
Yeah.
But a lot of girls at this age, 16, 17 years old, have no idea where to even start to think about that.
Yeah, because I've read that you should find your niche, like you were saying. Yes. You know, that as a model, that's so important. And you know, she's always wanted to do runway. You know, I don't know height wise if that's a plan, but I guess.
How tall are you?
5'8", 5'9".
She's 5'8".
How old are you?
She's 16.
Oh yeah.
We'll get there.
I mean, height wise, you're there. You know, I don't know anything else about you, but height wise, you're there. What do you like doing? What interests you? What, you know, when you wake up in the morning, you know, the head goes through its morning rituals. You know, what is it? If I had a magic wand and said, poof, if you could do that for a living, what would that be? Cheer? So, when I see cheer, I see excitement. I see being in front of people. I see leading in a certain way. So if that's the case, her niche should be built around that. You know. So what I would suggest is that she, you know, create something, whether it's, you know, a makeup line or a, you know, routine. If she likes to do choreography, if she, you know, create some type of cheer outfit and be the leader in cheer. If she likes it, she's going to do well. So, you know, if these two need to get together and you need to go to her and you need to say, hey, I have this cheer idea. you know, and I want these little skirts, and I want to make these. I'm going to wear it to school, and I'm going to show folks, you know, that what I can do. So now you guys have possibly created a business for yourself. This is how niches get started.
So find your passion.
Yeah.
Find your passion. Ask me a question.
Oh my gosh.
You don't have to. First of all, does anyone have a question? Yes.
What would be the biggest misconception of the modeling industry?
Woo!
There are so many.
Value. What is my value? I've been in this a long time, and honesty is very, very important. I got off the phone with a guy in Germany who I met, you know, back in 1985, 86 in Germany. He's very, very big in the industry. And this is not my friend, by the way. We were talking for quite a while, and the industry has changed a lot because of the internet, because of the cell phones. We have become such a fast-paced, instant gratification world that, you know, the things that used to work do not work any longer. So a lot of people are still going with the old memo of that, you know, looks are it. If you were to give me 3 ladies, and the first 2 were a 9 and 10 on the scale of beauty, and the third one was a 6, but the other 2 they had issues. They didn't get along with people. There was always drama. If I go to their Facebook page, you know, they have their butt in the air. You know, they're drunk, doing crazy things. I would choose the 6. Why? Because if I have a mature client with the business, and I said, hey, I'm going to bring you someone to represent your company to show your nice, beautiful Christian book line. And I have number 10 and number 9, they're not going. Number 6 is going. Now, what happens is number 6 gets ridiculed because 9 and 10 say, oh, I look better than her. Oh, what is this? Favorites? Oh, she must be doing something wrong to get that. The biggest misconception is, look, you have to have a very beautiful attitude as well, because people buy from people. And give me your definition of model.
You have to have a certain personality.
A coat hanger for someone else's product, period. You are there to sell someone else's product. Whether it's a Campbell soup can, dog food, whatever. You are there. An artist comes up with an idea in his head, and he says, oh.
Maybe not dog food.
Maybe not dog food. She's always right, by the way. But has an idea in his head, and he says, okay, I want to do that. And this is the way I want it to look. And they put this together, and they go to New York Fashion Week, and they said, okay, the makeup is like this, and they put the makeup on, and you got number 9 and number 10 sitting there. This is some messed up makeup. I hate this makeup. This makeup doesn't fit me. And they go in the bathroom, wash it off, and change it the way they like it. They do not have the correct attitude to represent someone else's product because they're thinking about themselves. They are there for that other person. So the biggest misconception in the industry, in my mind, is that most models are basically building a portfolio for themselves and no one else. So if you're building a portfolio for you, more than likely, you're going to be your own client because no one else, and the only one really caring about your thing. So the biggest misconception to me is don't allow your looks to override your decision-making process.
Yeah, I got something to say about branding, since we're talking about branding. And some of you haven't even been to our orientation due to COVID, but we usually put this out at COVID, but in orientation. But when we're talking about branding, what we always tell our models is every one of you brand yourself. But everything you do, good or bad, is going to be branded. If you go shoot with Joe Blow, brand new photographer, and his work is crappy, you're branding yourself as that type of model. If you go short with somebody as great as me, then you're branding yourself as that type of model. So everything you do is branding. And like Chuck was saying, you know, I've kicked up more than one models out of the agency because of what they do on Facebook and.
Don't try to sell dog food.
Yeah. Well, actually, in Chuck's defense, I actually shot for Purina with a model. It was with her dog.
Purina's a dog food company.
Yeah,
her dog.
exactly. But the dog was there. She was
Yeah.
not selling the dog. The dog was.
I don't think you'd sell anything if somebody was like, "This dog food's good. Trust me."
Yeah.
How do you know?
Yeah, I trust you. I'll
Good
buy
point.
some.
Yeah.
But that's what we teach on as far as branding.
Branding. In
You gotta go.
No,
I'm sorry.
trying to get rid of me.
No, you keep watching.
Any
It's
other
your fault.
Well, it
questions?
keeps
I have a question.
Sure.
vibrating.
So, what do you have to say to just anybody who says, "Oh yeah, I want to be a model. I'm not pretty enough, or I'm too fat, or I'm way too skinny. I'm way too short. I don't have the money for that, or I just don't have it in me to put myself in front of a camera and feel good about myself."
How did you come up with that? Let's role play here. How did you come up with that answer of why you're not good enough? Who told you that? Why are you thinking that? Tell me the information that you have to be able to formulate that.
So, there's always the stigmatism that you got to be 5'11", you have to be stunning, blonde hair, blue eyes, and there's nothing wrong with that. But then you have those other people that are like, well, I don't have that. I'm not 5'11", and I'm not super skinny. I have stretch marks, or I have crooked teeth, or I have freckles, or I have scars.
There's companies that make freckle cream. There's companies that make, medical companies that deal with scars. There are people there that have scars just like you. And if you would stand up and just get out there and show yourself, you know what? You'll have a huge fan base of people looking up to you because they are looking for someone they're just waiting for someone.
That's your niche.
That
Make it your niche.
that is your niche.
And kind of to touch base on that is, I think a lot of people, or a lot of young ladies and possibly boys, when they think of model, they are so stuck on the runway, the high fashion, the tall, skinny, good-looking ones that are and have been plastered all over the TV for so long, and they don't realize that there's so many different levels to modeling, whether it be the print ads, the fashion, the only one that goes on social media and advertises. There's so much there that I think, like you and I, we're just now starting to learn that. The idea of a model is so standard.
So that sisterhood or that family bond that you guys have, if you guys notice that there's this huge misconception out there for the individuals that are beating themselves up because they don't believe that they're good enough, a good place to start is you guys informing them that there's something else out there. There is somewhere where you are and will be accepted. If you guys are not saying anything, then they might continue to believe that they're not good enough. So it's up to you girls to get together and go out there and look for those girls who are looking for, an answer. And you guys have it. You're in a very unique situation where, you felt there's another girl out there just like you who felt lonely and bullied, and now you're not. Tell them what made you happy. Explain to them when you came to MODELEMI and you met Tim and you met the rest of the girls. Explain to them how that helped you. Now they have an answer because they won't know sometimes that it exists unless you get out there and speak.
Right, and I mean, there's what I try to tell people, because I have many friends who are like, "Oh, that's so cool, I want to get into that." And, well, you can. No, I look this way, and I'm like, okay, well, look at Gucci models.
Go open the door for me.
Gucci models, they are different looking. Or there is a supermodel, her name is Winnie. She has vitiligo. And
She has what?
Vitiligo. And that is where you have
The pigmentation.
yes, you have different colored skin.
Have you seen that model who's a top model?
She is.
I get goosebumps.
I know, I do too. And then even Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson had it, and he felt that he needed to change himself. He needed to bleach his skin. He needed to get the plastic surgery. He needed to change everything about himself to fit what he felt that people wanted him to look like. And then you have Winnie, Ashley Graham. I don't quite remember her name, but she's a beautiful, lovely model who has Down syndrome. They're all high up on that scale because they're comfortable with being themselves. They're comfortable and saying, "Hey, yeah, I don't look like this Victoria's Secret model. I don't look like yeah, I don't look like Bella Hadid. I'm different." And they put that out there. That's how they brand themselves. They're different. When you think of advertising for plus size models, you think of Ashley Graham. She's beautiful. She is all about being comfortable in your body and body positivity. And I just wish that people could realize that no matter if you are the beautiful blonde hair, blue eyed Victoria's Secret model, that you can be just as good as her, even if you have stretch marks, even if you're bigger, even if you have a disorder. You can be just like them. You just have to put yourself into it and be comfortable with yourself.
I think that's one of the good things about social media and these girls growing up in social media is there's such a versatile picture now of what a model can be. I think that's why a lot of times girls got bullied when you say, "Oh, I'm a model."
Yep.
She's 5'3". You know, when you see someone 5'3" and you say, "You're a model." No, you're not.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing that's a model? You just taking some pictures.
Do they say that to you?
Yes.
You get that a lot.
You know,
And-
I mean, especially girls that are school age, and you're especially in a public school, you know, those friends that look at you and say, you know, "You're not a model.
You can't model.
You can't
you're too
model.
short.
You're too short."
Yeah.
Or
You know what I would tell them if I were you? You know what? I got this advice from this old man, and he told me this. I don't really accept criticism from people that I would never go to and ask for advice anyway, and walk away.
and secretly, I think those are the girls that are like
That want to
really
be models.
want to do it, but they
don't have it in themselves.
they don't want to jump into it. Oh, that's
And take
not
it as
ever
a
going to happen.
compliment, because if someone is successful and happy, they're not really going around trying to tear other people down. Why? Because they're happy.
Yeah.
The only people that are really going to be out there, you know, coming at you is because they want to be in your position. They're trying to slow you down a little bit so they can catch up. So just smile at them and say, yeah, bless your heart. You know, bless your heart.
And it takes a brave person to say, "Yeah, I'm a model." It took me a while to get to the point where I was comfortable saying, "Yeah, I'm a model," because I felt that, "Ooh, I don't want to seem snotty. I don't want to. I don't want people to think that I think that I'm all that."
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta be comfortable with it. Like that's my big thing. Be comfortable. You have to get to the point where you're like, "Yeah, I'm a model."
Mhm.
Am I snotty? No. Do I have a lot of money? No. Am I the most beautiful girl in the world? No, I'm not. But you know what? I do this. I'm comfortable, and I love what I do. And you can do it too.
Do you all feel that way?
Yes,
Yes.
100%.
Well, I know you do. Just kidding.
Well, and even as parents, and I don't know if you get it, but even as a parent, I'm like standoffish on what she's doing or what she might accomplish because
What do you mean standoffish? I mean, you keep a distance from what?
You don't want to
You
sound
don't
like
wanna
you're
brag.
bragging on your
yeah,
child.
like you're bragging on
Yeah.
your child,
Yeah.
and that's the
Yeah.
because
Shoot, I would.
as
You're supposed to.
Well,
My whole
You're
family
supposed
does.
to.
you are, but when you and I don't know if you get it, but when when you tell someone, just like they do, that your daughter's a model, the whole outlook on what kind of parent you are can change. I don't get it. Me personally, I don't get it that often because our little group is pretty good about, supporting. But I do know that there's been parents out there that have felt like they can't brag on their child because women talk. They're mean, they're nasty. And as you get older, things change. But, I think there are parents out there that do feel like we can't, and that's why for me, I love it. And I can't wait. We haven't told a lot of people about the New York Fashion Week stuff just because I have a whole big reveal thing planned on my head, but
is it going to work?
I think so.
Oh, boy.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Can I play a role?
I plan on a lot of people playing. But yeah, I mean, hopefully there's parents out there that when their daughter comes to them and says, hey, I want to be a model, they have enough confidence to say, let's do it. Let's jump you in, And like with Tim, we had enough people that said, you're going to love it. He's going to make you feel comfortable. As a small town mom, I didn't even know where to get started.
Yeah.
They did a background check on
Oh,
me.
yeah. Yeah, we have a friend who is a police officer, and we were like,
you know what? Whoever you asked for that background check, I get my money back.
Hey, now, Tim's not that bad.
Yeah. As far as we know.
I don't trust you now.
It's just, as a parent, it's nice to have that little unit that you're comfortable with saying your child's going to be something, even if it is such a small Waco, Texas.
Find your tribe. Find the people who are like-minded. This world is filled with naysayers, To me, I have a belief that speech is nothing more than a translation of an emotion. Happy people will say happy things. Sad people will say sad things. And, people that, are going to be the naysayers in your group, you know who your daughter is. You know what she's doing. And the person who says that, if you take a look at their family background, you'll probably see some really atrocious things there. And that's probably what they're bringing their baggage into your conversation, which and that's not a reality. I've seen you guys. You guys have a beautiful family. You guys have, daughters that are very caring, very, empathetic to, emotions and things of that nature. You're going in the very right direction. And anyone else saying anything else is, they're just trying to make themselves feel better. And don't let that get to you. Don't let that get to you. All you girls are strong.
I saw a quote the other day that said, you ever see a hater doing better than you? Me either.
I think one thing for me with this agency is, like I said, we haven't been here very long, but when we first met you, he kept talking about empowering women. And for me, as a mother of a girl, I feel like I'm a very strong, independent woman, and I want her to be the same. And I want her to have no insecurities. I want her to be very confident in herself. And if that's all she gets out of this,
right,
I'm okay with that.
Amen. Amen. Do you all know the story of Vilma? You all know her story, where she's been.
Bits and pieces.
You see that leg over there with her face on it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that really means? When I met her, she weighed less than 90 pounds. Her eyes were recessed in her head. She looked like a little baby deer. You could see her bone. Her knees were very bulging. She wasn't in good shape. On day 2, she went into opioid withdrawals. Basically, what happened is her husband, at the time, injured her back. 2 failed back surgeries, didn't work. The doctors prescribed her pain medication. Back in those days, they said that, as long as you are, following the doctor's orders, you're going to be okay. But they didn't tell everyone that was very addictive. And I'm not going to get too scientific into this, but the brain makes a natural pain chemical pain relief, and your oxytocins and all the glands work together with that. It controls your body temperature, your heat, your stomach, your love life. So if you who's that dating, if you that stuff that you
The butterflies and
Yeah.
the feeling.
yeah. That's all natural chemicals from the body. When I met her, that was all controlled, but because once you start taking that medication, the body stops producing it. And then when you get off the medication, your body doesn't know what to do. So you lose,
Needs it.
you lose all control of your body functions because your brain doesn't have that natural, it's taken over by the pills. So going around to the clinics asking, how I could help her, they all said she needs to fall in love with herself and change her environment. Her life was always in modeling, okay, I need to go to that casting. I hope they accept me. I hope I look good enough. I hope this is, what, they're looking for. I wonder if I should do this pose. I wonder if they're going to, it's always about people accepting you. She's always asking basically permission for others. The leggings came about when she decided at that point, because all the doctors said that the addiction is a symptom to a deeper problem. You need to find out what the deeper problem was. And her problem was acceptance. So what we did is we placed her face, and she's a model, we placed her face on the leggings. So therefore she took control of saying, I am good enough. And now she has a business. She has, she's doing well with this. So she's not arrogant or conceited. This was her fix in her life, and she cares nothing about what anyone else says out there.
But I do get called narcissistic.
But she does get called narcissistic, and kind of created a monster. No, just kidding. Love her to death. And she has a lot of people running after her and said, oh my goodness. Because most people that have that problem are afraid to say it. And by her actually getting out there, saying online and saying, people call her up and say, oh my God, you just helped me. Oh, that's what my daughter, oh, my son, I kicked him out of the house. She's saving lives now. And that is the best feeling on planet Earth, when you have the power to help someone else, just like you guys are doing right here. And that's why I implore you guys, whenever you see that girl out there talking about, oh my God, I'm not good enough, go out there and help her, because that's the best feeling in the world. And love heals a lot.
And it's scary. I mean, when you talk about modeling, people are like, oh, you stand in front of a camera and you pose. Or, oh, you walk down a catwalk. It's not just that. It's, you worry about, is this look good? Am I portraying myself in the correct way? Do I look too snotty? Do I look too sexy? Do I look good? And it's scary because you think, well, I mean, does it matter? I mean, I think I look good. I mean,
and it should stop there.
Yep. And I mean, I take pictures, and I'll have my friends. They're like, "Oh, you look a little too grown there," or "Oh, you look a little tired," or "You look like you didn't sleep well that night." And
I look too grown. What do you mean too grown? Explain too grown. Where should I go? What is my level? So when I'm looking too grown, Miss Subject Matter Expert here. So when do I stop? Don't let people give you direction without giving an answer. So you should if you're going to give criticism, also force them to give you an answer. Okay, too grown. So what would you suggest?
You just ask, how should I look then?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was 12, 13 years old, having grown women tell other people, she puts off this seductive look. Let's not use her for this. 12 years old, having grown adults tell me that, and you just
impersonators. Adult impersonators. There's a way to talk to a child is developing. You have to have tact. You have to be able to, probably if it's not your child, it's probably you don't need to be talking to. You need to go talk to the parent and let them know, give them some kind of advice. But yeah, I totally there's men are, I mean, not men, well, men as well, but women are mean.
Oh yeah.
And it's very competitive out there, very competitive. And, you know, just fall in love with yourself. Get to know who you are. You know, wake up in the morning and be happy, and, you know, and really embrace the people that are around you, and, you know, and look to them for advice, and not those people out there who are trying to be in your position. Any other questions? You have any questions, young lady? Uh-huh. Any other questions? Who has to go? Vilma.
What? I just peed.
Oh, okay.
I don't have to go.
Velma.
Go to your
To
room.
your room.
You're grown. Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
More questions. Ask me. I've been around a lot. I've lived in Europe for many years. Please ask me questions, and if not now, you know, that's your go-to person. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, go through Tim. If Tim can't answer questions, you know, we all have different levels of experience in life. We all been in different places. Don't hesitate to reach out to Tim and say, hey, I've been thinking about this. You know, keep it to the modeling industry. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? You don't have any questions? You do. How come you're so quiet? Is she always this quiet?
Well, when she's in a group, she doesn't know real well. Yes. So this is one of those.
She wasn't quiet when I was shooting.
No.
What is your favorite thing to do? Cheer. Because I could see you as an individual who has another personality.
I'm crazy.
Yeah, another person.
A quiet crazy.
Yeah, I can see cheer being your groove, because you get out there and just act a fool.
Yes.
Is that you? Is that when you're? Yeah.
And you don't care whether people are watching, and she loves it that people are secretly. She loves it people are watching.
Uh-huh.
Really?
That's exactly it.
I'm watching you.
That's exactly it.
That's why modeling is such a big high. You know, anybody who has walked the runway, walking on that runway is such a big high. Like right before you walk, the walk, all the lights, walking out there. Oh my God, that's like going on a roller coaster.
So, Vilma, tell them what's your. You know, I've never asked you this. What has been your most exciting since in the last 5 years? What has been your most exciting thing that you've done in the industry? The most exciting.
Meeting me.
Besides, leave Tim out of this, because we need to get the rest of the world. We don't want to make the rest of the world
I
jealous
don't
of
know.
Tim.
I'm lost now. You took all my ideas away. The most exciting thing in modeling in general,
And just
or
anything
on
you've
the
done,
runway,
the
or-
retreats, the runway, the people, the whatever.
Probably between LA Fashion Week runway, probably because we did Society Fashion Week 4 years ago. That was their best show. They've been around for 8 years, and they've been growing every year. And so 4 years ago, it was really top notch.
You guys heard of Society?
Mm-hmm. So that one, and then probably the first Utah Dust Up with Vino, the Salt Flats, one of our exotic retreats. I would say.
Going back to the LA Fashion Week there, I really love that one, because this was a big warehouse for tractor trailers. So you had oil on the floor, you had big semis parked. It was a big shipping yard, and they used this big, huge warehouse to house all these trucks. They pulled all the trucks out, they swept the floor, they brought these other trucks in with these big trailers. The trailers dropped to the ground, and they stacked the sides of these trailers up, and they put lights in there. This place turned into this beautiful, huge, runway show in the middle. And if you would have went outside, you'd have been like, "What the hell?" But that really shocked me and surprised me. That was the best show that I've ever been in. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, that one, and not the last one with the airplanes landing. You didn't like that at all?
That was very emotional for me. Not at that time, but afterwards. So to go back in it, it's like
A little
There's
painful.
a different meaning. Yeah, it's
For those
so-
for those of you who don't know, her mother got killed in a plane crash. And in private plane, the pilot, which was her fiance, wasn't instrument rated, so he was flying in inclement weather, and he couldn't read the pilot. He ran into the side of a mountain. So that was a very, very tragic time for her in her life. And we did the event out in the Salt Flats, and this plane comes in, everything is great, and then 2 or 3 days later,
looking at the pictures, only when we started getting pictures, I'm looking at the plane, and it was the exact plane that
the
my mother
exact
was
same
killed.
plane that her mother was, passed away in. So,
Like a message from the sky.
Trigger.
Trigger, yeah. Okay. Well, this is, if anyone doesn't have any more questions, I'm gonna, go ahead and call this a wrap. And I really appreciate all of you coming, moms especially. We're probably going to see most of you again in New York Fashion Week. How many of you are getting the elite package? You are. You guys are going to love it. You're going to love it, and so are you.
I just have a question for the girls.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
think most of you guys are going to New York Fashion Week, and Dorothy's been. What is your expectation? I guess you get to get out of New York Fashion Week, and 2, what are you most excited for?
Great question.
I like that.
Great question.
I expect to meet new people and get myself more out there. And I'm most looking forward to just going. Like it's really fun. Like it's really fun. I know you're like jittery and you're nervous, but it is very fun. I think you'll love it.
It's an experience. I went last year with Dorothy with the I think, was that our first time?
So, Mom, you've never been there yet, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
I've never even visited New York.
Yeah,
So
it's
Woo! Hang out close to us, please.
let me tell you, as soon as I found out we were going, I called anybody and everybody I knew that has ever been associated with New York. And we have, I was telling Tim, we actually have a friend of ours who was in the fashion jean industry, and he spent a lot of time in New York. So he's been giving us some pointers, and we tried to get him to go so that we could have a tour guide and just know that
it is very
this is what we.
It's
really
very
cool.
it's
I'm
very
excited.
Keep an open mind. I've been going to New York for many, many years. Keep an open mind. People are very fast paced there.
Yes.
They don't have time for small talk. When you sit there here, you don't have very many neighbors, people, in front of your house. People are very pressed for time. They're always on a mission.
But they're still very kind.
They're still very kind. They really are.
Get lost. They're amazing.
New York is very diverse. They're used to a lot of people there with language barriers. There are a lot of people coming there not knowing where to go.
They don't like to talk because they don't speak English.
Right. And New Yorkers will take their time and help you and explain to you exactly where to go. They will. So don't be worried about that.
I think the thing, I'm just the unknown, and it's not so much the unknown of New York, it's the unknown of this whole fashion thing.
I think you're
Especially
the most excited
for her.
person in the room.
Yeah.
And I am. I'm very excited to see, like I was talking about earlier, I was telling her and Tim, I have a feeling I'm just going to be thrown in as a Kardashian mom type thing, because with her being a designer, it's a whole different aspect than what some of just the model part of it is, because and it's the unknown part is what makes me the craziest.
Don't allow that to make you crazy, because when you don't know, then when you find out what you didn't know, it just makes you a stronger person. So when you get there, have an open mind. You're gonna be just fine.
Yeah,
We're all going to be there.
and
to help
well,
you.
that's what I was going to say. Is it makes me knowing that there's been people, not just kids that have been there, but adults that have been there and been through that. It does help.
Bill used to jump on a plane from Chicago, get a ticket, and just go hang out for a month. Just walk the streets, talk to people. New York by herself.
Go to agencies.
Go to agencies by herself.
around.
And she might not be that sane, but she's okay.
Yeah.
Far from
And I am. I mean, as a mom, I'm excited that
You too.
and I'm sure you are, that your daughter's getting the opportunity to just do this, just to have the opportunity.
So it's like hopefully not once in a lifetime, but it's
Yeah,
kind of that
a dream
once in a
come true
lifetime
for
thing.
Yeah.
It's a bucket
Because
list
you
thing.
know that your child has been, it's something they've thought about for so long.
So
I could remember her runway walking when she was itty bitty.
I'm
She's
sure
like,
you've
Mom,
all
look at
done
me,
it.
my top model walk, and
Yeah.
she'd walk up and down the hall in my heels.
Growing up watching
Right
America's
next
Top
to
Next
Yeah.
Top
Yeah,
Model.
that's what I was gonna say is how many of you guys watched American
Oh,
Sniper?
she's
I'm sure all of us
binge
did.
watched.
I was gonna say.
So start saving up now for next September as well, because what I see happening, we do London and Paris Fashion Week as well.
Miami swim.
And Miami,
all of
but here, the big thing is New York, because the fashion industry, they are pretty pretty close knit. So they really work really well for the designers to be able to attend all events. So if one is going on September 6th through the 15th, the other one will not start until the 19th or the 20th, to give the designers time to make it to Paris, London, and Milan. And so next year, I know I'm formulating in my head, I'm going to do both. I'm going to go to New York and jump right on the plane next and go to Paris or London, one or the others.
Well, they're all after one another.
They're all right after.
September is, for example, 6 through 15 is New York Fashion Week. London starts or Paris starts on the 17th,
Mhm.
and then the last one starts on the 27th or something like that, the end of the month. So there's always just between 2 and 7 days in between. To allow you
That would be the best experience, because seeing how the runway in the fashion world works here, then you go over there and experience two different worlds, several different people. Fashion starts in Europe and trickles over here. It's always been that way. It's always been that way. So keep an open mind, Mom. You'll get a lot out of New York. Don't be scared. Don't cry, Mom.
Oh no, I'm not crying. I'm excited. I'm like,
This is
She's just a country
know.
girl going to a big city.
I'm excited to see.
New York is fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the city. I'm excited to have the experience. I'm just excited as a mom that my child gets the opportunity.
Go to the restaurants. Go to Times Square.
Oh yeah.
And New York is really crowded during this time.
Very.
The pandemic is basically over by then. You're gonna have people that had cabin fever out there. It's going to be packed.
Well, and it's 9/11 weekend too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And go see the 9/11 light show.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's what he was talking about.
Go
so
see that.
beautiful.
It's beautiful. Take some pictures there too. Somebody had another question?
It's like when we went, we had a photo shoot in Times Square. There was, I don't know how many people come circled us.
Oh.
Wanting
Always
to take
gonna
pictures
watch.
with
The girls
us,
loved
wanting to take pictures with us, wanting to talk to us, and wanting to just experience what we were experiencing. And it was kind of cool because there were little girls walking past, and you can remember being that little girl and being like, oh, I want to be like them. And it was just super cool being the one to watch it happen. And hopefully we inspired some of those little girls. Maybe one day I can go to New York and take a photo shoot in Times Square. It's an amazing feeling.
Great. You want to get some panning shots there?
Dorothy, you haven't said much, and you've been here the longest of everybody.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
You want the microphone over there? Is that what you're waiting for?
No.
No. You're trying to be all shy now.
It's like the two shy ones in the back.
Yeah, whatever. That's what I'm noticing there. Any other questions, young ladies? Great. Well, do you have any questions, sir?
No, sir.
I want to thank you, ladies, for taking the time. Make sure you go out there and eat some of the snacks before you leave. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully, we didn't keep you past your curfew, And thank you guys very much. Give yourselves a round of applause.